Did you see her trying to run away then? Well, yeah.
I'm sure I'm not the first person who's tried to run away.
So, yeah, well, 2 or 3 minutes, tell us what you're up to in Tanzania.
Okay. Shall I follow on from your joke that
No?
no one got earlier?
Yeah. There was a joke?
About where Joshua was a missionary to.
Yeah.
Which I think was Bristol. How many missionaries are there here today? Yeah, some people get it. Yeah. Everyone, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. So I was previously, Simon, my husband, and I went out with a mission organization. We went to Tanzania with an organization called Emmanuel International. We worked together with that mission organization for some years before I had a change of role, and Simon continues to work with Emmanuel International. So I think a lot of you will know we spent the first kind of few years traveling a lot to a remote island. It was kind of a not that long drive, but then 2 ferries out to a small island where we had a small house. Maybe I should tell a joke at that point, actually. There might be one person here who gets it, I don't know, people's origins, but Simon at that time did stand in front of a room full of bishops and announce that what's the English? It's like he had a small house on a remote island, which actually in Swahili culture means a second wife. So that led to a lot of laughter, but anyway, he didn't, as far as I know, have a second wife. But we did a lot of traveling, and at that time I kind of felt like I needed something a little bit closer to home, where we live, and the children at that time were homeschooled because of all the traveling, and I felt like probably I needed to end my chapter of doing that. So Simon had been pestering me for a few years. I know I've got 2 or 3 minutes. I'm probably at 2 now. I did my master's some years before going out through the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. And Simon kept telling me, there's a London school unit there in Mwanza, just 10 minutes from our house. Why didn't you go and talk to them? So I didn't, but I looked on their website, and there was a job being advertised that matched very well with what I had previously done. So I applied for that. And then for the last kind of, 3 and a bit years, I've been working as a clinical trial manager based at, it's the National Institute for Medical Research in Tanzania. And I guess it's one of those, be a missionary where you are, whether that's Bristol or Mwanza. It means I have a bit more of a kind of typical job. We had a visitor out for EI recently. She came to my office for a day and said, this could be an office anywhere, in the UK or anywhere. And it kind of is, but there are always opportunities wherever you are to share your faith and to work as a Christian and have that ethos in the work you do, and I think that's kind of what I strive to do. It is very challenging work, so we do big field level trials with large populations, and I guess trying to make a difference wherever you are in whatever you're doing. Is that 3?
Perfect. Make a difference wherever you are, whatever you're doing. That could be like a strap line for somebody or us or everybody, yeah. Nice one. Simon, are you feeling lonely and left out this morning? No. Do you think we should hear from Simon? No, there's only 3 people think so. The rest are not bothered, really. Oh, he look. He's settling in for the long haul.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, great. Yeah, Simon. When I say Simon's name, I always feel like I should be saying, Simon, Satan has desired to have you and to sift you like wheat, but I have prayed for you.
Thank you.
Which is interesting. You don't have the second wife.
No, I don't have that. Not anymore. No.
Yeah, you do. No. Very good.
We've got a few photos.
Yeah, up on the
screen. Just to carry on, really, to follow on from what Victoria is saying, like everybody's missionary should be in ministry of some sort to somebody, so really we don't feel any different from any of you sitting here in the room. Like the fact that we are sent missionaries from a church and I receive funding because I do missionary work, that's just a bonus, really. That's God's grace that we've been able to raise funds to be able to to support our work that's overseas. So yeah, we live in Tanzania on the shores of Lake Victoria in a city called Mwanza. And Phil's asked me just to share a little bit about how other people can be involved in mission work, how you all could be involved in what we are doing, or if you look at something else in one of your other mission directories and see, oh, how can I be involved in that? There's something for everybody. And for those of you who can't physically go anywhere, move overseas or do anything, stay in your seat and pray.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
give. Certainly pick up the phone or write an email to a missionary, because it can be very lonely and it can be quite isolated. We're quite lucky. We live in a city with a very diverse culture. You know, same as here, really. You look across the school that the kids are at, and there's any number of countries represented there, which is great for them. So yeah, I've got a couple of pictures, if I can just share, of this is what's happened this year in Mwanza in Tanzania, where we are. What do? Do I just press a button? Does it come? Or are they not working? Maybe.
We'll find them.
It's coming. So basically what we have, we run an organization where we work with Tanzanian churches at a very rural level. But people often come and say, well, how can I come out and serve and work alongside you? And there's a risk in saying that, because we've got a whole list of things that we're doing, and some of it's really boring. Some of it's just an office job that you could be in anywhere in the world. Do you want to come out and do that? I mean, that's not a picture that I want. But so here's an example of this guest that we had out just 2 weeks ago. We were doing this holiday camp. This is what I preached on last week. You can see the slides. This was the camp that we had, and there were 35 kids from across the city that came to that. That's mission. You know, Scripture Union camps, that's mission. Go and serve Scripture Union. Go and pray for them. You know, go and support what's happening there. So here you see a couple of missionary kids standing up. That's Judah, who's now in university in the States. He's come back and he helped out with that. That's Eleanor and Laura. Eleanor was our guest from our sending church in Leighton Buzzard, and Laura is a missionary from Canada. And a load of those kids are from all sorts of different backgrounds across Africa and Europe and America, and they've all come to receive the Scripture, the Bible, which is one idea. Like, if you want to come out and time your visit with a holiday camp that's happening, karibu, welcome. we can fit you in, or we can arrange a camp if you feel like bringing a team. The next one, this is a team that visited actually this time last year from Farnborough, St. Peter's Church in Farnborough, and they've regularly come over the last 5, 6, 7 years to Tanzania in one of our 3 offices. We've got 3 offices there, and last year they wanted to come and visit us in Mwanza, and they said, what can we come and do? And so I bounced it back to them and said, well what can you do? What are your skills? And they said, well, we've never been asked that before, because normally the organization would say, we've got a school that we need to build, or we've got a holiday camp that's running, and nobody's ever asked us what we can do so that maybe we can fix or arrange some things. So that on this team, there were, I can't remember now, 9 of them, I think. There were social workers, there were builders, there were electricians, there were teachers, retired electronic engineers, all sorts of things. So we tailored the 2 weeks that they came to us for. This was a visit to a local, it's quite sad, but it's definitely a need. What do we call it? Hospice for kids with cancer. They come from the city. They come from remote rural areas, and they come and base themselves in the city while they're receiving treatment. And some of these guys are here for years, receiving daily treatment. So another organization has set up a hostel, and we just visited them and we blessed them with just sitting down on the floor with them, playing, making crafts, doing puzzles with them. So that's, come out and bless some kids with cancer, or with, kids that have never even seen or come to a Bible camp. There's so much to be done. This is the same team. They also wanted to raise money to do a specific physical project. So if you've got funds, if you've got a desire to run a marathon or something, there is scope to approach a charity and say, look, what do you need? And it just so happened to coincide with the building of a pastor's training center. So this is one of those strategic mission bases that we work alongside with our Tanzania Assemblies of God denomination. Every diocese in the country, of which there are 70-something, should have one of these facilities, which is a training center for church planting pastors, where they receive a basic grounding in theological training and how to live and work alongside a community. But they need to live while they are training. They need to have a safe space. They need to have water, and that was one of the projects, was to simply put up some gutters and install a rainwater tank, so that now those pastors, when they're training, have fresh, clean water to drink. And this was the last of the things I wanted to share, which is another thing. We work alongside communities in different parts of the country, and they will come to us and say, we've got a need. And this need was this crocodile-infested water that they had to cross to get to the clinic. Otherwise, they had to take a 17-kilometer round journey just to get to the clinic the other side. And so, as an organization, we were able to find the funds through churches, through individual donors, for us to facilitate the building of this footbridge. And I think in the back, in the coffee area, there's the annual report of our organization on the wall, which you can take a copy of, look at that, read about this footbridge. There's some great testimonies I can share with you. I've got some YouTube videos of an old guy who lost his arm when he was 20 to swimming, trying to get across this river, and now he's like, well, all of the prayers of the next generations have been answered because of the work that you and your organization have done, which again, it's not us. It's God's glory. So, I don't know if that's kind of what you wanted, but there's so much to be said about how you can get involved. Don't feel like you're too young or too old. There's so much that you can do, praying for us, giving your time, giving your finances, as I say, writing emails, encouraging missionaries wherever they are, those who are serving Bristol.